Antony, the Greyhound near Henley. This is very much you, I have to say. It's a very interesting place. How long have you been here now?
Off and on about 9 to 10 years, I think.
Is it really?
Yeah. Very camp, very kitsch, but hey, it's fun.
It's great fun. It's fascinating decor. Is this bits of you and bits of other people? Or?
Mainly bits of me, and my wife, of course, gets involved. But it's mainly offloading the attic and all the family photos and things.
Yeah, so it's all very personal.
Yeah, very personal, yeah.
It's a lovely place, I have to say. The atmosphere is fantastic. I mean, it's great at lunchtime. Presumably in the evenings it takes on a different hue.
Yeah, it's quite buzzy in the evenings. So it's a Wednesday today, so we'd have live music on Wednesday nights, and occasional Thursdays. But the evenings more, we call it pub by day, restaurant by night, is the way we like to think of it. So we got lots of sort of obvious dishes on at lunchtime, and then more sort of slightly posy, although I don't like the word posy, dishes in the evening. Yeah.
So lunchtime, typically what would be available?
Well, we always have a good range of club sandwiches. We've sort of made these monster sandwiches quite sort of famous in the area. We'd always have a pie, we've got lots of soup. You know, there'll be a holdover sole, but there'll also be a baked cod done in the sort of Spanish way. Rustic-y food, I'd say.
Okay. And the evening?
Evening slightly more gamey. We've got a grouse on at this time of year. We've usually got venison because we get the gamekeeper comes to the back door, one slung over his shoulder as it should be. We specialise in our beef, so we've got a big selection of Wagyu steaks, and we do a fantastic Wagyu burger, which is unusual in the countryside. Okay, in London it's fairly common nowadays, but out here I think we're probably the only place doing Wagyu around here.
It's interesting that lunchtime you look at it as a pub and the evening more as a restaurant. Have you seen extraordinary changes during your lifetime in this industry?
Oh, undoubtedly. I mean, I think the thing about pubs is they're dying as drinking holes unless you're in the centre of town. So you have to make something else of them, and that is food-led for the most part. I mean, I'm very keen that the pub should remain the sort of hub of the village, the town, if you want, and therefore we like to keep our prices down, especially at lunchtime. Try and attract some locals. We get a massive crowd on Saturdays and Sunday lunches, and in the week it sort of ticks on quite nicely, but there's always something, you know, we do a £12.95 two-course lunch and early evening supper on Wednesdays and Thursdays. So we try to be approachable to all sorts. There's always something for everybody. If you want to go a little bit posh, a little bit posy, then you can spend 25 quid on a grouse or whatever, or you can spend 12 quid. So, and we've always got plenty for the children as well.
That's nice. You interesting opening hours here.
Yeah, unlike pubs, which are open 7 days a week, we only open 4.5 days, so we're closed Sunday nights, Mondays and Tuesdays. At the end of the day, I'm a bit of an antique, so antiques need to be polished up sometimes, so we need time to chill out, and I do like to keep high consistent standards, so I do like to be here most of the time. Having said that, I've got a great team in the kitchen and a great team in the front of the house, but me and the wife, we want some time off, you know?
Sure. Now, how about wine here? Because you've always had a very keen interest in wine. Do you find that in the country people are still having a decent glass of wine, or is it changed?
Within reason. I think there's a lot more people are very aware of drink drive laws, which is obvious. But we have a lot of people using cabs.
Well, they come from Henley.
Yeah, yeah. The Londoners, there's a lot of Londoners the weekend who possibly got country houses down here, or second homes, and they tend to be a little bit more influenced by the wine list. We sell a lot of good chateau wines with the steaks, but we've got a nice crust across the board, so we range from about 16, 17 quid up to 200, I think. But I do take an interest. So we haven't got a massive amount of space here like I had a Ménage à Trois, because Ménage à Trois won the Grand Master Award for wine in California, and that is still an interest, but I can't have 200 grand tied up in a cellar anymore. You've got to get the wine turning over. And the one thing you notice about not having a wine waiter is it has to be a name that sells, unless my manager or my wife have tasted the wine, possibly a little too much, and love it, and then they'll be able to sell it to the customer. But unknown wines are difficult to sell.
Now, how do you manage for staff? Because you're not exactly that close to a town, but you seem to have a very nice group of young, charming people here working for you. How do you manage that?
My wife will love you calling herself young. That's fantastic. I don't know. We've got a good reputation. There are obviously websites that rate us very highly. I think people like to work in nice places. We do look after our staff well. We don't rip them off. We try and treat them as part of a family. We don't have live-in accommodation except for one room for one of the kitchen members. But they seem to find us, mainly young, like you said. A lot of students, a lot of people on their uni times or gap years, you know, and we train them up. My wife and Haley are fantastic at training the staff and getting them into our way. In fact, I'd rather not have one of those cold, sort of professional robots. I want people with personality who are prepared to have a chat with the customers and get to know the customers as friends.
Antony, thank you very much.
Thank you.